In KwaZulu-Natal now, barely over 300 councillors have passed Matric out of nearly 2,000 working in the province.
Well, the Provincial Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Department says there's an urgent need to build local government capacity. Well, on the show tonight, we're joined by Cogta spokesperson in KZN, Lennox Mabaso, who is in our Durban studio, as well as local government expert, Paul Berkowitz. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen, and thanks very much for joining us. Well, if I may start with you, Lennox, is Matric even a requirement for a councillor?
Well, Vuyo and the viewers, let us first contextualize what the contribution that was made by the Honourable MEC for Cogta before the legislature when she delivered her budget vote. The MEC had underscored the point that the Department of Cogta in KZN is experiencing significant budget pressures due to its expanded mandate of coordinating service delivery, because it is a cog that is turning the wheels of government delivery. Actually, what then happened is that she had alluded to the fact that part of our responsibilities as prescribed by the Constitution is to ensure that we capacitate and support the sphere of local government. Part of that responsibility involves the capacitation of people that are governing the councillors. I must first underscore the point that in KwaZulu-Natal we've got about 1,846 councillors. Over 1,200 of them have got doctorates, they've got master's degree, they've got honours degree. So there's no requirement for any councillor or any public representative at local government level to have a Matric. But the point we're underscoring is that the department requires more additional resources in terms of budgets to ensure that we continuously capacitate councillors so that they can make a significant contribution to their oversight. That happens with every company. Now and again, companies send their employees, their leaders, to go and acquire new skills for innovation and improvement and development. So that's the point that we're arguing, to say that we need more additional resources because we have budget pressure, so that we can take councillors to further trainings. But what was also concerning the MEC is that, you see, we have an example of a generation of councillors of the year 2000, which are considered a pioneer generation. It's very sad that because nobody cared about the councillors, such that when their term of office ends, when it ends, they've got some form of qualification that can help them to ensure that they pursue and contribute to the country in another form, either as teachers, as nurses, or in the economy, if they are well empowered in terms of qualifications and education. So it's what we have to do also with councillors. It's happening with everyone. Every company has got funds for skills development. That's what we're arguing. Not to say that there is a requirement to have any qualification above Matric in order to be a councillor. We're saying we need to capacitate councillors. We need to make sure that they are also able to be empowered, so that even if they don't come back to be a councillor next time, they have qualifications to venture into other areas.
Paul, does it matter that many councillors don't have Matric? Yes, it's not a requirement that we've gotten out of the way, but does it matter?
I'll be a little bit controversial for you. I agree mostly with Mr. Mabaso, in that obviously it's better overall, the more education within the public sector, as he said and as the MEC said. You save money by not having to pay consultants if you have the skills and the capacity in-house. But let's look at it. Maybe up to 15% of the councillors, as Mr. Mabaso said, don't have Matric. And there's two kinds of councillors. There's PR and there's ward. And very normally, the most important jobs in the municipality go to the PR, the councillors on the party list. They get to form part of the mayoral committee, they become speakers, and they have to be involved with the budget. Ward councillors, I'm assuming, we don't know, most of the councillors who don't have Matric are, I'm assuming, are ward councillors. And it's better, obviously, that a ward councillor has more education so that they can debate the integrated development plan and see how budget is being spent in their ward. But I don't know if it's absolutely necessary or if it should be made a requirement. To put more context in it as well, we've had the Municipal Systems Act amended in 2011 to say that mayors, municipal managers, managers that report to municipal managers, they all need to have a minimum level of qualification. It was made quite specific, but I'm not convinced that every ward councillor at least right now, that we make it mandatory they have Matric.
Now, Lennox, you are asking for more resources because you want to fulfill this role, which you feel very strongly that it actually is, I mean, this service is needed. And I don't think many people will argue with you. But isn't Salga doing that?
Well, you know, Salga is doing quite a lot of work, but as you know, that the sphere of local government is where the rubber hits the road, is at the coal face of service delivery. All the laws that are passed in the National Assembly, that are passed in provincial legislatures, they find expression in municipalities. We often say that the sphere of local government is the highly regulated sphere. It is the councillors that must perform oversight with every law that is passed and its implications. As you will know, that every legislation that is passed, you need to have to undertake what a financial certificate has got financial and legal implications. And it is at local government that it is implemented. It is very important that all stakeholders put more resources towards the capacitation of the people that are implementers of policy, that are actually ensuring that all what is envisaged in all these big documents like the National Development Plan, the Provincial Development Plans, it actually finds tangible expression in the form of the spatial equity, addressing the imbalances of the past at a local government level. So as much as Salga is doing some work, but we all have got the constitutional responsibility, provinces and national government, to make sure that we bring about the success of the sphere of local government. So Salga alone will not be able to ensure that we achieve enough the capacity that we require. And we are saying that this must go even to the level of councillors. When they even decide to leave the job of public office, they can contribute in other areas with the knowledge they have acquired. We must also assist them to make sure that they also obtain relevant qualifications and paperwork. But we're excited that the majority of them, about 90% of them in KZN, do have qualifications.
But I mean, strategically, won't it make sense to have an organization like Salga coordinating this, raising money for it, but also approaching institutions like I believe they have done in Gauteng, for example, with vets? Are they not better placed to do what you actually want to do, especially given the fact that you have serious other challenges around service delivery and so on that you still need to address, or where you're actually found wanting?
Well, I think, Vuyo, you know, the more the merrier. But you must also understand is that we've got the Constitution of the Republic, which says that the duty of Cogta, amongst other tasks, is to ensure the capacitation and the support and oversight over the sphere of local government. So if it's all hands on deck, we are working very well with Salga for this instance in undertaking a number of initiatives. And remember, Salga also extend to other areas because they are an employer body of municipalities. So we have to make sure, because Salga alone is able to do things. They don't have infinite resources. They can do a part of their training to a particular level, and we as Cogta, in line with the constitutional mandate, we must make sure that governance is strengthened and enhanced, and that councillors are able to perform their oversight effectively, and that all the emerging trends in the economy, in the politics, in the social space, councillors are ready to be able to respond to that, and ensure that they guide government, that they lead in municipalities and society, so that we achieve the ideals of a non-racial,
Paul here. Paul, how best do you think we can really, this matter can be approached?
Vuyo, there's obviously tensions and constraints when it comes to budgets for this kind of training. As you've pointed out, Cogta drives a lot of the training. After every municipal election, there's normally a big induction process for all councillors across all municipalities. Private service providers are involved as well, and a lot of that's coordinated by Salga. Sorry, Salga, not Cogta. One must be careful. I think it's important that if this is something that the provincial Cogta wants to do, or national Cogta, that they need to develop clear guidelines and timelines for who must be trained and by when. Obviously, different municipalities have got different capacity. A municipality in the province like eThekwini will have over close on 300, if I'm not mistaken, councillors and training and internal capacity. Some smaller rural municipalities might only have 10.
But also there is a history to this where even the national department, as it was called, the Department of Provincial and Local Government, in the past tried to do this sort of thing. They even brought in consultants, to municipalities to try and help build capacity there on other, like on different issues. But it really didn't work because, as you're saying, it differed from municipality to municipality, province to province. So ideally, well, some people have said in the past that it is actually better for an organization like Salga, in consultation with or working with universities, to actually do this thing, to get the provincial Cogtas and municipalities to actually, allow them to coordinate this for them, because that has been a better strategy.
Quite right, Vuyo. And also, one must be cognizant of the budgetary pressures, and also that just training more councillors wouldn't necessarily lead to better outcomes or more transparency or better oversight. It's also got to do with internal structures and within the municipality, across parties, ward councils and ward committees, should they be reconstituted? Obviously, it's better to have more capacity in-house, but it's not the goal of Cogta to be training people while they're councillors for jobs outside of government. Some councillors are not even full-time employed.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Lennox in Durban.